Hello everyone, Rare Model Reviews here, and today we'll be looking at the high grade 1 to 144 scale Rising Freedom Gundam. So this of course is coming from the hit movie Mobile Suit Gundam Seed Freedom, and I definitely am so glad I got this thing. I was a little on the fence when I seen the metal, I think it's a metal version, it's either the metal version or the figures version of this thing, which looked a little better in my opinion, but there's just no better feeling than actually building your kit yourself and then being able to pose it off afterwards. I could definitely say, although it took me a lot longer to build this thing than it should have, it was definitely worth it. I'd say around the time I finally built the actual Gundam itself, that's when I got the motivation to the final stretch of the backpack and all the accessories. And it felt good to have the Gundam built, but when I put the backpack on, that's when, I really felt it. So moving on here, I did a little bit of lining on this thing, not too much. I didn't go too crazy with this thing. I just did like a little few bits like the legs here. You can make that out. Bottom of the feet also very well sculpted. Didn't touch nothing down there, but I did a little bit here for the open part. You probably won't be able to notice it, honestly. A little bit on the face just to make that pop a little bit. So bright here, you probably won't be able to notice like that though. A little bit here for that split in the arm. I don't think I touched the back at all. You also notice a lot of stickers around this thing. Hopefully I did such a good job. You don't even know it's a sticker, but just about all the details on the wings and the little backpack and whatnot are all stickers. I guess I'll spoil this here. This is like a little white sticker. No, actually no. Yeah. It's a white sticker you wrap around this little fin here. There's a red-blue combo sticker like the Gelgoog Menace had on for that little camera on the nose cone there. These are all stickers going around the wings, believe it or not. Like I said, it just looks so good. You wouldn't even know unless you built this thing. There's a bunch of stickers for this thing's cameras. This thing has a bunch of cameras on its head, way more than I honestly think is necessary. For the guns, I don't think there's any stickers for the guns. I did paint this part here for the scope because this thing was just white. It did not look right, so I had to paint that thing to make that pop a little bit. Yeah, believe it or not, that huge sheet of stickers I showed when I unboxed this thing, and there wasn't a single one that went onto the rail guns up there. There's a lot more. Well, I guess there's more stickers for this thing when you spread out the wings. So yeah, there's that. I'm like sitting here going through the stickers. I'm like, this feels like there's not as many as there should be. There we go. So there's just more stickers for this side here. This is like sticker you put on the wings. Then there's one you put on top of that part here. So this thing just had a lot of stickers. It doesn't feel like that much when you're looking around at it, but I swear there's a lot of stickers. Plus a bunch of them went on the beam rifle itself. But I feel like I'm just lollygagging here and just farting around. So let's go ahead and get into articulation, shall we? So the head can move a decent bit forward, great bit down. Surprisingly, it can move 360 despite the fact this thing is a pretty decent size collar, side to side. Some front and back movement there. Has a very good joint here to move the arm outward. So I feel like I've been doing this every review now, but I think it's pretty important to show off that your stuff can do some decent cross arm poses. So you have these very cumbersome wings that's going to kind of get in the way. So let me move these into a bit less of an awkward position here, which also kind of will show off the fact that there is some articulation on the wings here. So I guess we'll actually do the wings first. So you can move them like up and down a decent bit till they start knocking into stuff. Also like to note that moving them like that does also kind of make them a little loose. Can I move them in a little bit to tighten them up? Not really. So they're gonna have to kind of be loose like that. But again, if it weren't for the fact these wings kind of get in the way, as you can see, the arms do have a pretty good amount of articulation. In fact, you know, a good idea. Let's just take the backpack off, which actually comes off a little easier than it should, in my opinion. Has some movement underneath the shoulder there. You can go ahead and do a nice bend there in the arm. Now, unfortunately, there's no movement underneath the little gauntlet here, but there is something you can do with that, which I'll show off later as it's technically part of an accessory. We, of course, have the typical ball joint wrists, so you can do all the ball jointy stuff with that. The rail guns, unfortunately, only can go up to the side like that. So I believe if you took these off, it probably could do a split. I'm trying to see if I could take this thing off without not breaking. I'm a little nervous to do that. There we go. So yeah, if you take the railgun off, I think it more or less can do a split. That looks pretty decent. Put that right back on in. This has the splittable front armor things, of course. So it's not worth taking up that high because the leg can only go up about that high. But it's got a decent bit. I've seen better, but it's not the worst. Although I like to mention that they kept bragging about the Freedom movable joint system, and I'm like, it's not very good for this little system you guys are gawking about. So you can get a nice toe bend out of that. That's for transformation. There's the one kit that can do that, and it's for actual transformation. Decent movement at the ankles here. I think this is a C clip for that ankle, by the way. So if you hate those from the Witcher Mercury series, sorry, but they're back. Trying to think if there's anything else really to go over. This, of course, does not move. The waist can actually move down pretty good. Yeah, that's something worth mentioning. Move up a decent bit there. I think it could go 360, looks like, at the waist, yeah. And it has a bit of side-to-side movement as well. I'm not sure if you guys can quite make that out there, the little split you see in the armor. So maybe that's what they meant with the that little C action thing or whatever, or freedom action, whatever that thing was called, that right there. But I believe that's it for articulation. I don't think I've really missed anything else. There is a bit of articulation you have at the backpack, such as these little pods here being able to move. There's like so much movement on this thing, yeah. These can move a pretty good bit. Of course, when you have it on a backpack, this is going to be kind of limited. The nose cone, of course, can move, but this is for the transformation. And then we already more or less showed the wings. I'm going to spread the wings out later on. When I actually have this thing, I'm showing off the full burst mode and all that. So I'm actually going to go into this later. I'm pretty sure, because this is like the universal attachment for these backpacks. So I think that you might be able to switch backpacks with the Gelgoog Menace. We'll see later. So now that we've gone ahead and covered the articulation on this thing, as you can see, this thing does do a decent bit standing, even with these super big wings. But as you can also see, you move it too much, though, it still will fall off. So this still is certainly a kit that would benefit from having an action base. But let's go ahead and look into this guy's accessories. All right, so getting into the decent pile of accessories we have here, we'll go on here with the beam shield, which is actually a clear piece of plastic. Geez, I kind of phrased that wrong. It's like a hard piece. It's usually like softish piece for these beam shields, but this one's like pretty hard. But it looks pretty good. I love the glossy effect to it. Oh, and this is perfect too. You can see like the little sheens to it. So you see almost like this purplish, yellowish, green. Like it's like almost kind of like a rainbowish effect, really, you get from it when the light hits it just right. So I just love that. We have an assortment of beam parts here. 2 for the flashing edge shield slash boomerang thingy. I'm pretty sure it's like a boomerang. There's the pointy end here for the tip of the shield there. We have 2 of the modern 1:144 scale beams, coloring that nice red pink, which almost all beam sabers should be colored, not the light pink. We of course have the 1 outstretched hand, not 2, 1. Makes me want to mention last week's review, which was an older kit, by the way. Just this adapter piece here, which is for when it transforms. We have the gun here, which I guess I'll show it off now. Bandai is on a roll with these things. Lately, all of these things have had the movable handles, so hopefully they keep that same energy. And then we have the shield here, which is going to be a little hard for me to really show off the little extra movable gimmicks for it now, so I'll do that in a little bit. But it has a little adapter piece here for the arm. So unfortunately, you can only put this thing in one spot, but there's a bit of a workaround for that with the kit itself, thankfully. Shield is also very good, has very good color separation, except for the bottom part of the shield here, which I lined a little bit. This could have looked a little better. I think my fine points started to run out, so I should probably consider opening the second one I have. But the shield looks detailed, just it's all painted in white under it. Like I said, I lined a little bit there, but I honestly kind of lazily lined this. I didn't line as much as the Destroy did. That thing kind of tucked me out for lining for a while. But that's going to be it for what this thing comes with. I'm a little disappointed it does not have an action stand, but thankfully I have plenty to let this guy borrow. So let's see all the stuff in action, shall we? All right, so I guess first things first, we'll show off this thing's outstretched hand. So, I mean, it's not much you can really do with that, but it's there. And I'm actually going to do something a little strange with the accessories. So we're going to look at the beam rifle first. I already showed that the handle can move and all that, but what I'm going to actually do is there's a little opening there on the backpack, and of course a peg here on a gun. And actually, I don't think I really showed off the stickers in this thing that I think about when I went over them earlier. So basically everything blue in this thing's a sticker. I'll just keep it simple. It's literally that simple. Everything blue in this rifle is a sticker, and I actually love the blue they have on it. It already looked cool enough when it was just white and black. When the extra blue was added onto it, I feel like it made this thing really pop. But me segueing unnecessarily, as you can see, you can indeed put that rifle on the back there. So very cool. However, I think I speak for everyone when I say that you're going to want to put the rifle in the hand. So we shall do that. And I just love how big and bulky this rifle looks like. It just kind of looks more like the Strike Freedom's rifle, but like in one rifle instead of two splits, because this is how big and hefty it looks. And of course, you would be able to put the rifle on the other hand as well, as these are both the universal fit type hands. So that's cool. They don't have the little trigger finger hand. So voila. No complaints with this thing at all. It's rock solid. And I kind of had a feeling that wing was going to come out. It felt super duper loose. But of course, this thing has amazing articulation. So you'll have no problems having the second hand in there. You could probably put the other hand in there too, but I'm not in the mood of fiddling around and trying to get that going. So it actually came out from that part. Oh, that's not good. There we go. But geesh. I guess we'll go into the beam saber now. So the process of the beam saber is pretty simple. You have two here, of course, on each end. You can just take them on out. You can then, of course, spin the blade right on the side of the hand. You can then either just put in the hand like so, just have one beam saber, or you can be cool, spin the other one on end, and then go ahead and take advantage of that little split connector system there. Voila. Now you have the double-sided beam saber. Ooh, I don't know what's wrong with me today. I guess we're going to the shield now. So let's go ahead and take this out. I'll put that thing on properly later, maybe. Next we have two shields, actually. Jeez. So I guess I'll go over the physical shield first. Actually, before I even put this thing in the arm, I'll show off the mechanic of it first. So of course you just have the little pointy bit beam there. You go ahead and throw that on up there. You of course have the ability for this thing to split open. And this thing has the similar connection points to the Infinite Justice's little leg cutters. And I hate those things because it's easy getting these things in, but hard getting them out. And I've already bent one of them trying to take them out, so I'm really nervous about these things now. So this is how cool this thing looks. I'm nervous to even use it more than once, but voila. Now I believe they told you to pose this thing off using a connector like this. So if you want to show the Rising Freedom launching its flashing edge shield off, there you go. So I'm actually glad that they did do that with this thing's shield, because what really ticks me off about this thing is the fact that it has 3 shields, 2 on each arm, and then the physical shield. So at least there's some practicality of this thing having beam shields, because I hated how the Seed Destiny suits all had those redundancies with their shields. Like, I argue the Infinite Justice is even worse. It has a physical shield with 1 billion weapons on it, and then it has a beam shield on top of it. It's like, why? So I wonder why. There's no. See, there's like this attachment here, the bigger one, is for the physical shield. Then the bottom 2 here are for the beam shields, and then the little tiny one there is for the actual red piece for the shields. This thing has so much going on with his arm. I'm like confusing myself on what to do with it. So unfortunately, there's only one of these. I wish they brought 2. So you got both beam shields on, but whatever. So you, of course, can now have the Rising Freedom with the shield there on. And I do not believe I have this thing in the arm, so I'm going to go ahead and do that now. So you would, of course, take all this stuff off. I'm going to keep the beam effects on, actually. You then, like I said, have this little peg in the shield there, if you can make that out. You would then mount that on in. I should probably honestly take the rifle off, or it can fall off. Okay, or everything can fall off. Jeez. So there you go. I have a problem with this shield is the fact that how pointy these things shoulders are. There we go. It's easier if I do that. So, despite the fact this thing's missing a hand, you can have, of course, both shields on. So, you can do with that as you please. And that is about it for its accessories, huh? So, I'm going to actually go ahead and... In fact, no, wait, getting ahead of myself. No, there's still one more accessory, a couple more actually. For starters, I never showed the wings fully opened up. And there's also this little bit of articulation with this wing, although I don't know what to do with this end here, because it feels like you shouldn't be doing anything with this. As you've seen here, when I tried to go crazy with it, and the wings go a little too far up in the air. But there's multiple ways they want you to display the railguns on the top here. So you have one way where they want you to kind of open these wings out like so. Hold on. Didn't mean to take the backpack off, but it does make it easier. So then you can spit them onto the back like so. You would then spin the cannons above the head like so. And then you, of course, kind of have to watch the head here. You don't want to get those antennas. So there you go. You now have the cannons like this. And then there's the other way, which took me forever to do. I want to add, in which you kind of spread the wings open like so. This is what I'd call the more dramatic version of it. And then you could, of course, have the wings spread open like that, and then the cannons over the shoulders like so. So lastly, take the shield off. It's a little easier to do with the shield off. And then we'll bring the rifle back on. As you can see, you try to put the two shields on with the rifle. This thing does not like standing up, but you would simply fold out the rail cannons like so, and voila. Now you have this guy in his full burst mode. I guess you could kind of move the shield a little bit like so to have him blocking and shooting at the same time, since he's not the strike free, he doesn't have the stomach cannon. And I almost forgot the final detail of this arm here I wanted to do. So you can actually unpeg the arm like so. And this allows you to put the shield in a different spot here as well. So we're going to go ahead and put that in there, put that on there. So voila, so now you can do a underarm pose with the shield. So as you can see, there's a lot you can do with this kit, and I absolutely adore it. You can do so many different poses from this thing, whether it's in a movie or not. So Bandai definitely gets their kudos for that. But like I said, I'm going to go ahead and make a little quick pause here so I can disassemble this thing, put everything back where it needs to be and whatnot. And then we're going to go ahead and look at this thing's transformation. All right, so first and foremost, before I forget, there, of course, is a little hole in the crotch there. You can make that out. And with the appropriate stand, you can, of course, get this guy airborne. Ooh, actually, no, I don't think he fits in this one. I think they literally are trying to nickel and dime us and make us get the new Action Base 7. So, all right, never mind. That was my first time attempting to do that. And as you can see, it did not work. But, all right. We'll just go on to the transformation, I guess. Actually, no, we're not. We're not going to do a transformation. We're going to do a size comparison first before I transform this thing. Because once I transform this thing, that's kind of going to be it. But, I'm not gonna go too crazy with size comparison. I'm just gonna show it off next to the Gundam here, which is much bigger than this thing, surprisingly. I did not realize the Gundam was this big, but there you have it. So I want to try and see if this thing's backpack would fit with the Gelgoogs here. So actually, let's go ahead and see if that is the case. And it is not. This thing has a single hole. This one has 2 holes, so yeah, that will not work. So all right, that sorts that out right away. But going back onto the transformation, first and foremost, they want you to kind of make it look up like so. You then bring the nose cone over the head, making sure everything, of course, is lined in there properly so no accidents happen. And there's these little fins on the nose cone. You just want to pull those on out. Let me see. You want to point the feet up like so. And then there's this little tabs at the back of the legs here. You flick those open. And then you get these little leg fins out, which I just love. It really helps detract from the legs and the transformation here, which you want. Next here, we got to bring this little adapter piece. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe you put it in like so. Oop. There we go. So you put that right under the crotch like that. The shield you then slide open like that. If I'm not mistaken, it's supposed to be like this. No, it's like this, huh? No, it's like this. No, it's like this. There we go. Ignore. Wow, that was really goofy. All right. You would then go ahead and line this little groove. Sorry, this little groove here in the bottom. So you can see where my thumb is, along with the shield like so. And that is literally it for the transformation. This thing has a very simple transformation. So, oh yeah, that's another sticker actually. This little piece here, this little black piece is a sticker on the little booster pods, whatever you call this. So yeah, that's literally it for the transformation. Thankfully, this adaptation piece at least fits an older stand, this being the Action Base 5. I meant to get a 7, but I didn't. I think it was sold out. I think that might have been where I usually shop for them, but I really actually love the transformation. I remember people really poking fun at this thing, saying how it looks kind of wonky or whatever, but once I built this thing and got to look at it on a stand and whatnot, I actually really kind of like it. You also can, of course, spread the wings out while it's transformed as well. So, oh, you got to kind of do the underside. I'm pretty sure you should have you do the upside with the wing, but I also don't have the hips lined up very. There we go. So that may look little strings. You also could, of course, adjust this better. This thing's so big when it's transformed. There we go. So you can also, of course, spread the cannons out on top of this thing as well. So it kind of makes it reminiscent of the Savior, where it has cannons that are rather railguns. I'm pretty sure these are railguns that are you can have come out while it's flying. So again, very awesome transformation. So obviously, if you couldn't guess already, this thing is definitely S tier. I am in love with this thing. The only gripes about it really are the stickers and the fact that the leg articulation could be a little better. But besides that, this thing has a lot of accessories and options to it. And I'm definitely glad I got this thing. I'm a little ashamed that this thing plays such a small role in the movie, but that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to spoil much else, because I'm sure there's still some people who haven't seen it and want to see it. So my lips are sealed on any other plot details to say. But I will say the little screen time this thing did have, it did definitely do a lot of cool stuff. So Kieran definitely did his thing in it before. Well, yeah. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. This has been Rare Model Reviews. If you enjoyed what you saw, please be sure to give me a like and a subscribe. And of course, keep the discussion going down in the comments. As you can see, you can still put some extra accessories and whatnot on this thing if you really wanted to have him doing some extra stuff in the transformation, which this thing maybe would have been able to pull off if it was a show and not a movie. Although now I think about it, it's just kind of stupid. The pointy bit here, you're not hitting anyone with that. You could maybe hit some of the bottom piece here, especially if the wings aren't flayed open like this, but yeah. It still looks cool though. You gotta admit, it does look cool, even though it's pretty impractical. And actually, one of the things, I don't do this enough. Oh no, yeah, this thing has a no, yeah, you can still. That looks really cool. I don't think that's the same color the beam's supposed to be, but hey, if you got a appropriately colored beam effect around here, just saying. But again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video or review.